here. So my name is Ashwin Kataria, and I'm Senior Vice President of Performance Excellence at Securitas Technology. And with me here today is Christy Keating, Vice President of Sustainability. Christy heads the sustainability function within the technology division at Securitas. So we move on to the next slide. I want to just go over what you learned today. Over the next several minutes, we'll give you a quick overview of Securitas and share the journey we took to build our sustainability strategy. The strategy building exercise was a truly collaborative effort, bringing in external perspectives from our clients and stakeholders and engaging functional teams across our organization to ensure strong internal alignment, right? To keep things interactive, you'll see a few quick poll questions throughout the presentation. We wanted to make sure we put that because it'll help us gauge where we collectively stand on integrating sustainability into our business practices. So let's start with the first one. That must be on your screens now. The question here is, does your company have a formal sustainability strategy and measurable targets? I request you all to please respond with the option that best reflects your organization's position today. I'll give you a moment here to get through the questions and provide your answers here. Okay, if we move on, we have only 3 responses, and all 3 responses here state that we have a strategy and clear targets. Hope we get more than 3 responses to get a better understanding of where we are as of today. So if we move on, Christian, to the next slide, I want to give you some background on Securitas. We are a global leader in safety and security solutions, and we've been in business for over 90 years now. We have presence in 40 plus countries, and we employ more than 300,000 employees globally within the markets we serve. Within the electronic security business, or as we call it, the Securitas Technology business, we have about 13,000 employees across the globe with deep specialization in delivering ES solutions to our clients, who range from local, commercial businesses who typically operate, 1 to a few handful of sites within a localized area, to clients who have multiple sites, which could number into tens or hundreds or even thousands within a specific region or a specific country or in multiple countries across multiple continents. We're also a purpose-based organization. Our purpose, we help make your world a safer place, unites us and is guided by our core values: integrity, vigilance, and helpfulness. These principles have shaped our culture for decades and continue to drive our innovation and commitment to sustainability. Now, moving on to our sustainability strategy goals, talking about sustainability, Christy, can we move on to the next slide, please? Sustainability has been and continues to be a strong focus area for Securitas. Securitas has been a signatory of the United Nations Global Compact since 2015. We've committed to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 42% under the Science Based Targets Initiative by the year 2030. For the folks on the meeting here who are not familiar with what SBTI is a global body that enables businesses to set emissions reductions targets that are aligned to climate science and the Paris Agreement. The key objective of SBTI is to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius, or ideally around 1.5 degrees Celsius as compared to the pre-industrial levels. Coming back to Securitas and our sustainability framework, our sustainability strategy was a few years old. While its focus was on all important areas, we felt it was fragmented and siloed. So we wanted to create a strategy that was better integrated into the fabric of who we are. As we set out to shape our new strategy, we had a clear goal in mind. We wanted the core of our strategy to be built around a comprehensive framework that integrates environmental, social, and governance principles in our ways of working, while ensuring that client value creation and business value creation still remain the guiding force in the strategy creation process. We wanted to make sure that we remain focused on creating real value for our clients and driving meaningful growth for Securitas while doing our part to help develop a safe, and a sustainable world. With that, I'm now going to hand it over to Christy, who will walk you through the approach we took as we looked at revamping our sustainability strategy. Christy, all yours.
Thanks, Ashwin, for setting the stage. So let's walk through how we tackled this effort. So we first had to identify what we were trying to accomplish and why. And this may ring a bell for those of you who are familiar with Simon Sinek's what, why, how framework. It might sound familiar to you. So Ashwin did a nice job sharing the what and the why on the prior slide, and I'm going to talk about the how. So I'm going to outline our approach and then go through more detail on the following slides. And we will share pieces of our strategy along the way so that you can see the output of our actions. We've talked about being a purpose-driven and values-based business, but we're also a data and insights-driven business. So it's data that really helps us move from assumptions to evidence, and it informs our decision-making process. And we know that data-backed strategies build trust. So as a data and insights-driven business, we needed to understand our client and stakeholder needs in order to help to ensure that our strategy is relevant, as well as inclusive and actionable. And understanding these needs was our very first step. So once we gathered all that, that data from our stakeholders and clients, we analyzed and prioritized our findings to develop the 3 core pillars of our strategy. And from there, we did KPI benchmarking and validation and worked with our stakeholders to establish our targets, actions, and KPIs. And then we socialized the strategy and gained executive leadership and board approval and are now in execution. So we're going to move on to our second polling question. What is the biggest driver of sustainability in your organization? Client expectations, regulatory requirements, investor demands, employee engagement, or brand reputation? Client expectations. It's funny, on the last presentation, there was a similar question, and regulatory requirements didn't really get much focus. And I was surprised by that. So I'm actually, now that we're at this question, I'm not surprised at this. So client expectations. Yes, I think that is, what should be driving all of us. So investors, customers, even employees are increasingly demanding transparency and accountability around ESG performance. So really nice to see that. Of course, regulatory requirements do drive us, investor demands as well, and brand reputation. I think according to Morgan Stanley, like 88% of global companies now view sustainability as a long-term value driver. So that definitely impacts brand. And employee engagement. So I think more and more employees are, making employment decisions, at least in part based on the sustainability focus of organizations. But apparently we're not seeing that very much in the security industry right now. So thank you for participating there. Okay, so listening to our stakeholders. So this slide illustrates really how we've structured our sustainability efforts to ensure alignment, accountability, and impact across the organization. Stakeholder engagement is critical for success. So we've listened closely to 4 key groups. So our external stakeholders, our clients, suppliers, partners, and they help us understand market expectations and opportunities. And we'll talk about this more on the coming slides. Our board and executive leaders, they set the strategic direction and approve our ESG goals. And then our business units and entities, which are responsible for driving implementation and delivering measurable impact to the business. Each of our markets, Ashwin talked about the breadth of our organization, and each of our markets have distinct needs based on variables like local and regional regulations and other specific client and employee needs. And then our functional departments, including HR, marketing, finance, operations, which play a really critical role in embedding sustainability into the everyday business practices. So to support our structure, we've built a three-tiered sustainability governance model. And at the group level, our sustainability team sets the overall direction and also provides guidance to the divisional teams. At the divisional level, we drive strategy and execution within our division and also oversee reporting. And then at the country level, sustainability leads are responsible for executing initiatives and managing local reporting. One nuance here is only at the group and divisional levels do we have dedicated resources. At the country level, it's mostly people with a passion for sustainability or sustainability as part of their job, like someone in EH&S, for example, who might wear multiple hats. And this structure really ensures that our sustainability strategy isn't only well-informed and inclusive, but also actionable and measurable across all levels of the organization. So in order to look at what the broader market was telling us, we did engage with a third party to augment our existing knowledge and conducted a market analysis in order to identify market insights or market signals. So market signals are used to identify potential shifts in market requirements. We're not building a one-year strategy here. So we really needed to be able to kind of see around corners and build a strategy that addresses these shifts so that it's all still relevant in 5 years. And so this analysis helped us identify those trends and behaviors in the market that indicate future priorities or directions, the shifting expectations of our clients, and even our would-be clients or prospects, as well as regulators and investors, and then also other emerging risks and opportunities to consider while we build out our strategy. On the following slide, I'm going to talk about some of the key insights from the market. So the growing number of SBTIs is a clear market signal that suppliers are going to be expected to continue their climate action, right? So in 2024, companies with validated science-based targets represented 41% of the global market cap, and that's up from 39% in 2023. In just the first half of 24, there is a 31% increase in the number of companies with valid science-based targets. Number two, companies are increasingly looking to their supply chains to help achieve their targets. So within Securitas Technology, a really large portion of our emissions are from the products that we sell to our clients. So we really lean heavily on our suppliers today to reduce the emissions of their products, which in turn will reduce our emissions and ultimately our clients as well. Three, ESG due diligence regulations, say that 10 times fast, are driving major changes in supplier engagement and data transparency requirements. So EU regulations are moving quickly, and companies will definitely be increasingly leaning on their supply chains to align with those regulations. And key actions for suppliers will include things like compliance with companies' risk management plans, data collection, monitoring and audits, and putting procedures in place, to monitor and respond to adverse impacts. And then finally, for financial institutions are tying ESG implementation to access to capital at preferred rates. So the issuance of sustainability-linked bonds worldwide has definitely been increasing. Listening to our clients, we heard what the broader market had to say, and now, we really needed to learn from our clients. So our clients are at the center of everything that we do, and you'll recall that one of our core objectives was to ensure that our strategy focused on the value to our clients. So we engaged with a pretty large cross-section of our clients representing different geographies and business sectors across the globe to improve our understanding of their priorities on sustainability and enable us to best respond and meet these requirements. So we really pushed in with them on what's important to them across many aspects of ESG, talked about their sustainability goals, what they're looking for from their suppliers in terms of SBTI, human rights, business ethics, health and safety, employee engagement, and more. And we really tried to determine what was a must-have versus a good-to-have, right? what's really, really, really important to our clients? Where can sustainability be a differentiator for us? And what might not yet be a priority for them today, but will be a priority to them in the future, such as something like net zero, as an example. We learned a lot during that exercise, and I'm going to share just a couple of insights that we did learn. So during the interviews with our clients, we learned that ethical business practices are top priority for all clients, and really a license to do business. There's not a whole lot more to say here other than, transparency does build closer relationships with clients. Two, this exercise further validated that sustainability is having a real and significant impact on clients' buying decisions. Many are weighing sustainability topics up to 20% in their selection of their suppliers. And we see this firsthand in our business today. I respond to a lot of supplier questionnaires on ESG topics, practically on a weekly basis. And in fact, many are requiring SBTI aligned targets for all their suppliers, which include things like long-term net zero targets and clear decarbonization plans that are time bound. A couple that aren't highlighted here are for services engagements, clients are looking for a really stable and consistent base of employees from their suppliers, particularly if they're embedded into their sites. And this makes sense, right? They're not looking for turnover with resources any more than we're looking for turnover with our employees. And then living in fair wage is another one that's becoming more and more important. And it's also becoming a really recognized mechanism of attracting and retaining a more skilled employee base, thus reducing employee turnover again. So we're going to move on to our question number 3. Do your clients ask about your sustainability performance in RFPs and business discussions? Yes, frequently, occasionally, rarely, or not at all. So I think that this is really dependent on the size of the clients, whether global in nature, and potentially the sector that they're in. So this doesn't surprise me. I feel like I see them a little bit more frequently than what's indicated here, but good cross-section from this group. All right. So now we're going to talk about the building blocks and inputs to how we developed our strategic pillars and priorities. So first, we synthesized the insights that we gained from our clients, the market, and other stakeholders. And we paid really close attention to what their current priorities are, but also what their future priorities may be, which I mentioned on the last slide. So like I said earlier, it's not a strategy for a year. It's meant to be a 5-year strategy that brings us through 2030. So we really need to stay relevant over that period of time. Second, we prioritize on those insights based on the relevance to our business. We had a massive matrix, and we looked at the potential impact of both action and inaction for each item. So I'm going to say that again, because I think it's a really important point, and not doing so can create real risk to the business. So we looked at the potential impact of both action and inaction for each item. In some cases, it was table stakes, basically maintaining a license to operate, like regulatory requirements, business ethics, policies, and practices are examples there. Also, as I mentioned, some clients are weighing sustainability topics as much as 20%, and that really makes inaction a significant risk to the business. Other items were prioritized based on value add to our clients. We also did take a look at what sectors and service segments were impacted, and we prioritized on our North American and European markets because that's where the bulk of our clients and the regulations are coming from. And then finally, once we had a prioritized list, we outlined our value proposition to our clients, if we had a competitive advantage, and if we had the core capabilities and resources to support. So now I'm going to talk about our strategic pillars. So all of this effort culminated in our sustainability framework, and this starts with our 3 strategic pillars and the key areas of focus. So they were developed such that each pillar has a clear external value towards our clients and an internal value towards Securitas and our employees. So number 1, develop people. We'll empower our people to deliver exceptional service. Our people are our strongest asset, and through ongoing investment and strong focus on our people, we're building a skilled and motivated workforce. And this skilled and motivated workforce, we believe, strengthens the service quality for our clients and delivers sustainable value to the global community, as well as to our business. Decarbonize the business. So we're reducing our carbon footprint and also providing our clients with emissions data on our products and services to advance their sustainability journey. And finally, demonstrate integrity. We drive the highest ethical standards within our business. As a trusted advisor to our clients, it's really important that we act with integrity in absolutely everything that we do, and that we expect the same from our partners. We really have a zero tolerance policy for any breaches of ethics or compliance. So these are our 3 core pillars, of which the rest of our strategy was built around. All right, so now that we've outlined where we'll be putting our focus, we then defined our 2030 goals and our relevant KPIs so we can measure, really what success looks like. How can we measure that without having clear KPIs and targets? So we were careful to identify KPIs that use SMART criteria, that are ambitious but also achievable, and that we're able to track and report on our progress. And we prioritized KPIs that were most material and that also had the most significant ESG impacts. So developing people, our aim is to prioritize the health, safety, and well-being of our people and ensure that the workforce of the future is in place through training and upskilling. So we believe that retention and focus on well-being and belonging will lead to consistency of our associates and improved business continuity. So some examples of those KPIs are that we want to reduce our injury rate, improve our inclusion and growth index scores, and these come out of an employee engagement survey that we do every year. So this will really be our employees speaking to us and telling us how we're improving. And then by the end of 2026, to establish a global ambition for upskilling our frontline employees to meet our client and business needs. Securitas has over 300,000 employees across the globe, and the majority of them being frontline employees. So this is a really massive undertaking. But within Securitas Technology, in North America, we have a really robust and mature development program in place already for our frontline employees, and that's growing and maturing in some of our other markets. Decarbonize the business. So our targets here are to reduce our absolute scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions by 42%, and also deliver carbon footprint data for 70% of all new technology quoted to our clients, with the ability to make, that's providing them the ability to make informed decisions. And we believe that, reducing our emissions are going to help our clients reduce theirs. And then demonstrate integrity. So we pledge to maintain the highest ethical standards, and our associated KPIs here are greater than 95% effectiveness in compliance controls, and that's going to be verified through testing and audits. And then that 100% of our business leaders across the globe are promoting business ethics. All right, so now that our strategy's been set, we're going to talk about communication and execution. So a well-crafted strategy is only as powerful as its execution, right? In our case, turning sustainability from a vision into measurable impact required a lot of planning, and also really intentional communication and alignment across the business. So execution's not just about doing, it's about doing together with clarity and purpose. It's a shared goal. So let's walk through the key focus areas that are helping us to bring the strategy to life. So first, communication and socialization. We really need to make sure that our communication, our sustainability goals aren't just shared, but they're really, really well understood by the organization. For this, we're using our internal platforms, leadership meetings, town halls, external messaging, and other mediums to create visibility and really build that momentum. So repetition is key here. It's not state it and walk away and think we're going to achieve our goals. We're training our commercial teams to understand how to communicate the value to our clients as well. Next, ownership and accountability. This one's huge. I mean, we are really embedding responsibility at every level. So from leadership incentives at the top of our organization to sustainability leads in each entity, we're involving many, many different groups across the organization and stakeholders. So this ensures that sustainability is not just a corporate initiative, but really a shared commitment. And then integration into business processes. So sustainability is really part of how we operate. It's reflected in our policies, in our operations, in our decision-making frameworks. And this really is what makes our strategy sustainable in the long term. And then finally, celebrating early wins and momentum. So recognizing progress is key to maintaining engagement long term, spotlighting teams who hit early milestones, sharing success stories across the organization, and then really using those wins to reinforce what's possible when we work together. Throughout all this, there are two themes that are really critical. So one is cross-functional alignment. So we're not treating this as a separate track. I can't say that enough. We're bringing together teams from operations, finance, sales, and beyond to ensure that our strategy is embedded into the business. And then continuous improvement, right? This is an evolving process. I think, any execution of anything is always evolving. And so we're learning and adapting and refining as we go and trying to really make sure that our strategy stays relevant and impactful in the long term. All right, moving on to our next question. What is your biggest barrier to executing a sustainability strategy? So lack of leadership buy-in, limited resources, siloed departments, unclear metrics, competing priorities. Drum roll, please. All right, this is not surprising at all. So limited resources at 20%, tied with unclear metrics and competing priorities, and then siloed departments. And I think I've highlighted a lot during this presentation the importance of not keeping everything in a silo. So hopefully, stakeholder engagement will really help there. And then, of course, competing priorities and limited resources, challenge for us all. It's probably one of our biggest challenges in business today is having enough resources to do everything that we need to do and achieve all of our priorities. And honestly, this is a part of why our organization did at the group and divisional level really put some dedicated resources in place to help drive and execute the strategy. Of course, we lean on a lot of other people throughout the organization as well. So thank you for responding to that. All right, so we've now walked you through the process that we went through to develop our strategy and ensured that our strategy was aligned with our core business strategy and guided by our purpose and values. So as we close, I really want to bring it together on this one slide. Ashwin talked about our purpose, but at Securitas, our purpose is clear. We help make your world a safer place. And this purpose isn't just a statement. It's really the foundation of how we operate and the lens through which we view sustainability. Our sustainability strategy is about developing a safe and sustainable world that creates value for both our clients and our business. And it's not a side initiative. It's embedded in how we grow, how we serve, and how we lead. We're guided by our core values of integrity, vigilance, and helpfulness. And these values do shape our decisions, our culture, and all of our relationships. So the circular framework that you'll see on the right-hand side of the slide, it illustrates our 3 strategic pillars that we've talked about and that drive our sustainability effort, along with the client and business value. So develop people. We invest in our people to ensure that they deliver outstanding client impact. Competence development is really key to securing future growth and resilience within an organization. Decarbonize our business. We use data and collaboration to support our clients' sustainability progress while reducing our own environmental footprint. And then demonstrate integrity. We uphold high ethical standards that strengthen trust and deepen our client partnerships, which also help ensure our long-term resilience and business continuity. So each of these pillars contributes to our overarching goal, which is creating value for clients while building a safer, more sustainable world, and also highlights the value to our business. So I would say that we met the goals that we set out to when we began this journey. Our strategy is aspirational, but it's also actionable, it's focused, it's measurable, and it's aligned with our long-term business goals. It's built around client value and business value. And I really believe that it positions us as a strong and trusted partner in sustainability, ready to lead with purpose and deliver with impact. And here's our final question. So after today's session, how likely are you to revisit your sustainability strategy? Very likely, somewhat likely, not sure yet, or unlikely. Excellent. Love that. Love to see 50% very likely, 33% somewhat likely, and 17% not sure yet. Glad to see no unlikelies there. Well, good. So as you revisit your sustainability strategy or build out one for the first time, I just want to leave you with a few reminders. So number 1, make sure you have a North Star. Really clearly outline what you're trying to accomplish and why. Number 2, don't build your sustainability strategy in a silo. I can't stress that enough. Align it with your values, your purpose, and your overall business strategy. Gain buy-in along the way through a lot of collaboration with internal stakeholders. We talked about stakeholder management a little bit, and we talked about the market and our clients, but we did spend a lot of time talking with our internal stakeholders to really understand their businesses, understand what they could do within their functional departments, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really my belief that when people are involved along the way, they're going to be champions of the strategy and feel a sense of ownership in seeing it be successful. So they're going to help spread the word throughout the organization. Understand the broader market and what your clients are looking for from their suppliers. Keep it simple. Overcomplicated frameworks definitely lack traction. And then when setting your KPIs, make sure that they're somewhat easily measurable. We all have a lot of reporting requirements. I would go so far as to say massive reporting requirements, whether it's external or internal within the organization. So use automation where you can and avoid KPIs that require a lot of manual tracking. A lot of ours, for instance, were outputs of our sustainability reporting, so we're able to pull it from there, or our engaged survey, et cetera. Don't throw your strategy up on your website and expect it to gain traction. You really put the effort in to ensure that it's understood across your organization, and then execute. Can't say that enough. And that's it. I just wanted to close by saying thank you so much for joining us today. And as you build out your sustainability strategy for the first time or refresh your current one, please feel free to reach out to Ashwin or I if you'd like to learn more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, both of you, for your time and, just talking over this topic. It was a really great topic. It was great to hear more about your own journey. Again, if anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat. Happy to cover those. On my end, I just had a couple, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Apparently, I'm becoming famous for asking questions in this. How has aligning your sustainability goals with the broader corporate objectives help strengthen your relationship with your clients?
Oh, I don't know, Ashwin, if you want to jump in on this one, I'm happy to, but I think that our clients want to work with suppliers that, that where ESG is front and center. And I mean, of course, not 100% of our clients, but a lot of them across the globe. And seeing our commitment, it has really strengthened the trust between us and our clients and our partnerships in many, many cases. So I definitely think it's having a very, very positive impact. Our clients are at the center of everything that we do. And this is we just recently rolled out this strategy, and because it's all built around the client value, I think we're going to continue to see really positive traction there. Ashwin, I don't know if you have anything to add.
No, Christy, I mean, so one of the poll questions was, are you seeing more and more clients asking about sustainability within the RFPs? And what we've seen, right, when you started this, when we started on this journey a few years ago, you had very few, requests, or even the requests were just a simple question, right? Now the questions are more detailed. The clients really want to know what you're doing as opposed to just saying yes or no, right? So we're seeing that happen a lot. And as we developed the strategy, when we interacted with our clients, we reached out to our client base across the globe. And we also made sure that we had diversity in the type of clients we're asking those questions to get a well-rounded view on what our clients truly need, or what do they expect from us when we talk about sustainability as being a key pillar of how we basically go about our business every day, right? So it's hearing from the clients is what told us that, hey, this is an important aspect of what the clients expect from a provider who's global, right, and operates in multiple countries. So they want to make sure there are standards set when it comes to environmental impact, but also social governance piece as well, right? So clients feel a lot more comfortable when companies talk the walk and walk the talk when it comes to sustainability.
I couldn't agree more. On my end, in the role that I play in the organization that I work for, I couldn't agree more that, that kind of collaboration, working with your clients, working with your stakeholders, is very important to get these initiatives done. Just sum total, right? One last question on my end, and again, happy to answer any other questions in the chat. You touched on kind of the cross-functional collaboration and kind of the work that you did there to just understand and I guess do some education type things across your organization. Any tips or tricks as we saw the poll, you have a lot of people that are going to go back into their organization and rethink some of this potentially. Any tips or tricks of working with those cross-functional groups to get kind of their buy-in, them to come to the table with you?
Yeah, it's a journey for sure. It doesn't happen overnight, or maybe I should say it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I think because we engaged a lot of stakeholders, teams, functional teams, throughout the process, that at least those people sort of have gain buy-in early on and start to be champions. But I think at the very top of our organization, sustainability is such a big topic. And at really every level of leadership, it's important. And so it's really being pushed out to the teams in that way. So when you have that executive buy-in and then it's pushed down, I think it really helps get people involved. But then we engage them through various other means. So, we do videos, we have our intranet, we talk about sustainability at town halls, at leadership meetings, at You know, I jump into team meetings occasionally. We bring up sustainability in our council meetings. We have 5 council meetings that where it's talked about there. So it's just, you know, we just push it throughout the entire organization, and the repetition is really, really key here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to add, right? So if I had to summarize what Christy just said, communicate the heck out of it, successes, failures, what you're doing, what you're not, right? And that helps build awareness. And when you build awareness, right, the strategy building exercise gains a lot more traction because there's a lot more people who are buying into the process, right? So you just don't flip a switch and say, we're going to create a strategy for sustainability. It's a process, it's evolution. And you basically get there by communicating within the internal teams.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know on a lot of people's ends, it can be somewhat difficult to get the other groups involved in this kind of conversation. So appreciate that that point of view. So that's the agenda for today. Thank you both very much again for your time and presenting on your topic. We really appreciate it. Again, want to thank our sponsors, HID and Asa Abloy, for their sponsorship for this program. I will put another plug in for the SIA ESG Advisory Board. I think Yusuf will probably put her email address in the chat again today. If anybody is interested in joining the ESG Advisory Board, please let us know. We're happy to have you. With that, going to give people a little bit of time back today who doesn't need more time in their day. Thank you again, and we hope to see all of you again tomorrow for both risk and resilience ESG as a strategy enabler and leveraging physical security solutions to make organizations more sustainable. To more hot topics tomorrow, and we hope you can join us.
event and given us the opportunity to share with you all how we went about developing our sustainability strategy. My name is Ashwin Kataria. I'm the Senior Vice President of Performance Excellence. Are we sharing the deck, Christy? I'm sorry, I can't see it here.
Here we go. Sorry, it just took me a minute.
All right. Okay. So, as I said, let's move on to the next slide, Christy.